Okay, everybody, moving on to day 4 of circumference, area, and volume. We're going to start three-dimensional figures. We just kind of finished up area, perimeter, arc length, sector area, and that was all of two-dimensional figures. So now we're going to move into three-dimensional figures. Starting out with a couple definitions, a three-dimensional figure is a closed figure that has three dimensions. Typically, we're talking about a length, a width, and a height. And I put typically there because when I change the shape, sometimes those dimensions change. But anyways, it has to have three dimensions of some sort. Now, on any three-dimensional figure, a couple things. A flat surface is a face. So if you take a look at what it's pointing to, that's a flat surface. An edge is a line, which goes from a vertex to a vertex, so it's just a straight line. And then a vertex is a corner or a point. So make sure you have those in mind. A couple examples of three-dimensional figures that we're going to deal with. We first of all have a prism. We also have a pyramid. And then we have a cylinder, a cone, and a sphere. Now, the biggest ones I want to draw your attention to, because in a minute here we're going to start naming these things and you're going to need to know the difference, is the difference between a prism and a pyramid. Okay? On a prism, it has two flat surfaces, or you could say two flat faces. So it's flat not only on the bottom, but also on the top. Versus if you're looking at a pyramid, it has one flat face and then a vertex at top. So down here I'm going to have a flat face, and then up at the top I'm going to have a single vertex. So that's the main difference between a prism and a pyramid. So if I go look at my cylinder, would a cylinder fall into the category of a prism or a pyramid? And the answer to that is this guy's a prism, because he's flat on the top and he's also flat on the bottom. What about a cone? That would be a pyramid, because he's flat on the bottom but he has a vertex at the top. And then what about a sphere? And the answer there is neither. He's kind of in his own little category. He's not a prism or a pyramid. We just kind of put him out there by himself. First part of our lesson today is we're going to name these things, and we're going to name the three-dimensional figure, and we're going to try to be as specific as possible. Now, the first thing we need to know is we need to know prism, or we need to know pyramid. Okay? Now, once we figure that out, then we're going to need to know the base. Okay? Now, base kind of equates to, we could put here bottom, and we're going to have a couple different conversations about the bottom. So, first of all, prism or pyramid, we should be thinking prism, because it doesn't come to a single point at the top like a pyramid does. Then on this guy, I'm going to be looking at the base or the bottom. On these guys, it's kind of hard to tell, but your bottom or your base has to be exactly the same on both two ends. Okay? And the shape of those two exact figures, if you take a look at it, is not a square, because this has one tick mark, which means it's one length, and this has two tick marks, which means it's a different length. So it's not a square, that's a rectangle. So then the way you name these things is you name it by whatever the base is, and then prism or pyramid. So this is a rectangular prism. Please don't call it a box. That's second grade. You are now in high school. Next one. So, first of all, prism or pyramid. I hope you're thinking pyramid because it comes to a point. Base. base on a pyramid is always like the opposite side. So the point is usually at the top and the base is usually at the bottom. So we're looking at this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 6 sides, if you forgot, is a hexagon. And if you forgot any of these, 6 sides, 5 sides, 4 sides, 7 sides, Google is your friend. Okay, don't sit there and say, I don't know. You're on a computer, use it. So the base is a hexagon, so the way we name this guy is we call him a hexagonal pyramid. Next one. Now, this guy, I'm going to go with 2 names, but I'm hoping everybody is just saying cone. Okay? This is a cone. You're done. Move on. But there is another way to name him if we're kind of sticking with what we're doing here. So if you take a look at a cone, it comes to a point. So that would make it a pyramid. Well, then you'd have to look at the base, and the base is down here. Well, the base on a pyramid or a cone is a circle. So this also could be named a circular pyramid. But no one actually calls it that because it has a special name. Just call it a cone. Okay. This guy. Prism. Pyramid. And then I hope you're thinking in your head, but Mrs. Fischler, you just told us neither. Yeah, this is neither. So he's kind of falling into that category of the sphere or the ball, but we don't call it a ball because we're grown-ups. Okay? So this is a sphere, but it's not a whole sphere. It's half a sphere. So think about like the Earth, and if you're talking about the top half of the Earth or the bottom half of the Earth, this is a hemisphere. And I hope I spelled that right. If I didn't, call me out on it. I'm not a good speller. Okay, last one for naming. Prism. Pyramid. First of all, I'm hoping prism. Now, this guy does not come to a single point. And here's where we have to have a little conversation about his base. Now, his base are the 2 sides that are identical. Okay, and I'm going to repeat 2. Because if I'm looking at a base, okay, he's kind of got this guy right here. And he's kind of got this guy right here. And base, okay, well, this is on the bottom. This is on the top. And they're the same. But are those the 2 sides that are the same? Or could I also say that this is a rectangle and this is a rectangle? I've got a whole bunch of rectangles going on here. So even though the red rectangle is on the bottom, that's not the base. Okay, so let me erase all that. Really what we're looking for here for this guy's base is right here. And right here. Okay, those are the 2 sides that are the same that actually make his base. Even though he's not sitting on it as the bottom, a lot of times we turn these guys, that's his base. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. 6 sides, we went over this, is a hexagon. So this guy is a hexagonal prism.